Hi, it's Katie Kim with the Kim Group. I'm sending this video out to all of our clients, our tenants, and to our community for anybody who is looking to take advantage of the SBA Payroll Protection Program, or called SBA PPP. Wanted to get something out to our clients, tenants, and our community to tell you how to start putting together the information that will be able to give you the data to tell you how much of a loan you can apply for, you can qualify for, and then how much of it can be forgiven. Because I know there's a lot of paralysis by analysis happening right now with our clients in terms of how much am I going to qualify for? Is it worth my time? And so, as you all know, if you work with me, that I have these Uber spreadsheets, and so I put one together for this program, and I want to share it with you. So yes, I am sharing a full-blown editable spreadsheet with you. So wanted to get started in terms of showing you how to access the spreadsheet, and then how to use it and how to get the information onto it. You will notice that you will have to sign in. There's a couple reasons for this. One, the spreadsheet, as you'll see as we go through, is not fully confirmed with the data. So as we just signed this last Friday, that there's a lot of details with the program that we're not sure how they're going to clarify. So in order to protect you and myself in regards to giving you this information, we've highlighted the cells in orange, but also are requiring you to give us at least your email address so that as we update this spreadsheet, we can be able to send it out to you and send out updates. I want to make sure that the data we're giving you now, as it changes, you are continuing to be updated on it. So we're going to go ahead and jump to how to access this. So go to the Kim Group, click on real estate website here on the link right there, and then you'll be taken to our properties page here to do that. So it's going to come up with all of our listings. So go to the COVID-19. If it's not at the top, which it should be right now, you can go ahead and search, but go ahead and click on that. And then this will take you to the page for our COVID-19 CARES Act information. So click on documents. And then as you scroll up, you'll see that we have put some documents here that you want to access, or you may want to reference. And this, we're trying to put together the summary of the documents that we're gathering. So the one with the realtors, as it loads up, is basically from the National Association of Realtors. That gives an overall view of the different programs that have been applied or that apply towards this act. So you can see an overview of that. We also, the other document you have here is the SBA plan here, which is by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. This is the one we're going to reference today as we go through the spreadsheet and the information. It outlines who's eligible, what the lenders are looking for, how much can you borrow, and what will be forgiven. So it's a great overview of the information. And then we have the spreadsheet so you can actually put your data in and see what qualifies. So you'll notice that these two documents down here have a locked sign. So when you click, and I'm not sure how this is going to look on mine because logged in, but when you click this, you should have a pop-up that comes here that asks you to log in. So you can go ahead and click create a build out account. And this is where, again, you'll put in your email. So I'm just going to put in my email here. And then a name, and come here and put in Katie Kim, and I'm going to put example so I don't get confused as to why. And then 6939900, that's our company phone number, and then fill in all this information. And then for the role, just click principal and investor. And then you'll come down to the sign and confidentiality agreement. This is part of the program. So you can accept that. That just says all this information remains confidential, your typical one. And you can email me a copy or email yourself a copy, and then click create account. And so, and then from there, you'll see that the review some problems. Okay, so hold on one second. Okay, I had to re-sign, so we put a different email address because it was kicking me back due to my email already being there. So you'll see a verify. You'll get an email address that you click verify, and then you'll be able to click to download these forms. So they'll just appear just like this and be able to be click and download. So This is the prep for the video slide, so that's the one that you should be getting an email for that we go through and talk through this. All the information that you're going to need to prepare, and then this is the input form. So what I'm going to do first is come over here to the U.S. Chamber, kind of putting this over to the side. So we walk through it. So who is eligible? So small businesses fewer than 500 employees, small business that otherwise meet the SBA standards, 501c3, individuals as sole proprietor, independent contractors, and self-employed. So this is a really big program for this. You'll also see that there is tribal business concerns as well as a 501c19. In addition, it has some other details here. So I really want you to note that if you don't see yourself here, contact your banker or local SBA office to make sure that you do qualify for that. So let's say you do qualify. What the lenders are going to be looking for is that to make sure that they can make a good faith loan and during that time. So definitely take some time to read through this. What they're not going to be looking for is that you have any collateral for this loan, and also a personal guarantee is not required for this loan. So those are two big key points to look out for. So the big question on everybody's mind is, how much can I borrow? So here it says loans can be made up to 2.5 times the borrower's average monthly payroll cost not to exceed 10 million. Okay, so what is included in those payroll costs? So for employers, and I'm going to zoom in just a tad here just to make sure this is clear for you guys, is that for employers, it's going to be your salary, wage, commission, and other compensation, any payment of tips, and just look at all these different items here. For sole proprietors, it's a little bit different, but then you're also going to see that there's some excluded costs here. So compensation of individuals of excess of an annual salary of 100,000, and then payroll taxes are excluded, income taxes, and also you need to make sure that your employees are in the United States, residents of the United States. So, and then qualified sick leave. So really this, again, this is an in-progress program, and it's being defined. The SBA has 15 days to get the application and the program created so we can leverage it. So this is really to be able to help you define back of the napkin, can I apply for this? What do I need to do? So again, non-seasonal employers and seasonal employers are down here as kind of a high level. So for the seasonal, the maximum loan amount you can qualify for is 2.5 times your average total monthly payroll cost incurred during the year prior to date. Now, I've had a lot of questions of, okay, I haven't filed my 2019 taxes. Does that mean it's 2018? No, it means it's 2019 because as you submit your payroll, they have all those documents processed in there so they can reference those numbers. So what we did over on the spreadsheet, as you're going to see these different tabs down at the bottom here, first and foremost, the disclaimer, as you probably heard me say multiple times throughout this video, other videos, and emails that you've received, that it is in process. And so we're waiting for further clarifications on the amount of detail and numbers that are going to go in. So you'll see that some of the spreadsheets cells in here are highlighted orange to be able to reflect that these are ones that we're still waiting for further clarification on. So just to let you know that this is, again, this spreadsheet, please use it as a back of the napkin tool for seeing how much you can qualify for in order to confirm that you should be able and you should be getting everything ready to be able to apply once the applications come out. So I am giving this spreadsheet in full editable capability. So if you mess with it, break it, do it, that's 100% on your liability. We're not liable for anything. This is being sent to you in order to help you get, again, that back and napkin calculation. So without further ado, so as we come into the entry calculator, you'll see up here, note this form will be modified as further clarification comes for non-qualifying and qualifying expenses. And here you'll see that this denotes an input criteria that is in question and further research is being done. So for example, down here, I read some literature that says, it's all your payroll cost, everything, fees, processed, and all that. And then down here, you'll see because that they're exempt because some of that literature is not very clear. So that's where you'll see those questions. So anything that is not in question is here in clear. And then you'll also see that there are other excluded costs with this program detail. So I have left a couple different lines here so you can populate that data in if that applies for you. So this was really created for probably about 80% of the businesses that we work with to make sure that they can get, again, that back of the napkin say is, yes, this is worth it or not. So what we did is anything in yellow, again, if you're used to our forms, anything in yellow is an input cell. So here, we just went ahead and populated the salaries for a gross salaries for a company. So these are all, again, leveraged from an example of an existing business we're working with, but they're not their actual numbers. So if you have the salaries for the gross payroll, so this is, again, your 2019, the whole entire year. So just look at your 2019 payroll cost, your gross pay, put it in here. Any of those IRA company contributions would be going in this cell right here. And then I would right now for this time skip down. So we are a professional service development real estate property management company. So we do have real estate commissions that we pay out. So these would be, so we put 25,000 in here as an example. And then if you have any independent contractors that you're paying out as well, this would be space to put that. So as you see, this cell here is not highlighted yellow. So what this is a formula that sums all those figures up above. So now going to excluded cost, you'll see here, which I need to unhighlight that as yellow. So when you see the form, it will be unhighlighted. But this actually pulls in from this employees over 100K. So I'm going to click on that. You're going to see, again, the same disclaimer that this form will be modified, that this is denotes input criteria that's in question, and an input cell. So I've made a couple lines here. At a high level, you have Bob Dylan is working for this company. He's rocking it out at $125,000 for a year. So total payroll cost minus 100K. So the remaining payroll cost would be the 25, and that would be a deduction for the payroll cost. This is one item that we are looking for further clarification on, which is why you see it will be highlighted in orange as we click back, to make sure that this is as simple as we are calculating it here. So as you come back, again, you'll see this is in orange. So that pulls automatically from this cell here, this worksheet, from literally this one that sums up all of these in there. So clicking back over to the entry calculator, you'll be want to enter your payroll taxes, and we separated them out as employee and employer because some of them have different, some of the companies have different breakouts. And so if you want to put them all together, you can do that. If you want to separate them out, you can do that. So the total excluded costs, click on that. And again, that's a sum of there. So simple math, simple math is if you have your qualifying expenses minus your excluded costs, this is your sum of the total qualifying cost. So if we click back, and I'm going to pull this over here a little bit, and it says, so how you calculate that is, again, 2.5 times the average total monthly payroll cost. So we have our average, we have our total payroll cost. We divide it by 12 to get our monthly average, and then we times it by 2.5 in order to get your maximum loan amount. So pretty simple math in terms of that, but all you need to do on this spreadsheet is put in the data in the yellow cells, and it'll populate this for you. So that is automatically done on that side. So now as we look at what will be forgiven, because this is a big question that a lot of my owners are asking, because they want to know, okay, if I get this loan, that's great, but how do I pay it back? So this, in regards to how much is forgiven, so this is saying the borrower is eligible for loan forgiveness equal to the amount the borrower spent on the following items during the 8-week period
beginning from the date of loan origination. And these are some pretty key dates to note. So the payroll cost during that time frame, interest on mortgage obligations and or rent. So if you own a building, the interest on your mortgage. If you rent, it's your lease payment. And then also payment on utilities, so gas, electric, water, transportation, telephone, internet. And then also for any borrowers with tipped employees or additional wages, those would be as well. The loan forgiveness cannot exceed the principal. And this is pretty key as we start to look at these calculations of how we do that. So before we get into any of the further details, I want to come back over to our spreadsheet and then pull this back over and then show what we've done to help you figure that out as well. So I'm going to click this plus button up here. This will expand the forgiveness calculator. So again, going back to orange denotes that the input criteria is in question. And then over here, you'll see the yellow. There's a section over here, and then there's the forgiveness calculator. So this, in essence, is your work area. So in the yellow, I want you to come and calculate what your weekly salaries are right now. So this is for the next 8-week, 10-week period, what your best guesstimate is on what those salaries are going to be. And again, look at gross pay on this, okay? So salaries in terms of weekly, and then what we do is we calculate it for that 8 weeks. And so it totals for that period. You'll see this amount automatically gets pulled over to this cell here. The IRA contribution is the same thing. Enter your weekly amount, times it by the 8, pulls it over. And the same thing for your federal and state payroll, as well as the fees for that. Independent contractors. You'll notice over here, in this line, I don't have real estate commissions here, but I do have it over there with a yellow, and as well as the independent contractors. Those are ones that I think what you best would do is honestly put an equal sign in there, and then put, as you get your commissions, I would put it that way. And if it was me, and you guys know I love to track everything, I would add a note, and then I would say, real estate commission, Bob, and then 10,000, and I would make a list and just keep all those in there. So that way, you know what is in there as you're adding to it throughout the period. So then you'll see these payroll costs here are added up into that cell. And then you'll see interest on mortgage. Not knowing what you're paying on mortgage, can't really calculate that in a quick way. But what you can do is kind of add that in. Most of our clients are leasing. So what we did over here with the rent calculation is what's your monthly rent. Again, times it by how many months, your yearly, divide it by the 52 weeks, and then basically take that weekly one and multiply it by the 8-week period. So all you need to do in order to be able to get your rent into the forgiveness calculator is put your monthly rent right here. We do all that calculation for you. The other thing is your utility payments, as you saw. So over here with the utility calculation, do your monthly costs for all your utilities. So this would be something that just go back and look at January, February. If you have your March invoices already, look at the average and put those numbers in here. And then go ahead and, again, put those numbers, we'll times it by 8, and we're bringing it over here for the forgiveness calculator. So this line here is what I really want to draw your attention to. So you're able to qualify for a loan for $36,000, and your total amount forgiveness is $61,000. So, and this is if you maintain or add employees. There's a couple other criteria, but I want you to see that this program is really designed to help small businesses and to have this loan be forgiven as long as you're really sustaining and growing your business. And that is why we want to get this out so people can know that this program is really designed for our small businesses. Okay, so we're going to go back real quick oops, sorry, a little technical difficulties here. We're going to go back to this program, the U.S. Chamber page here. And again, reference their website for all those details. This is really meant to give you that back of the napkin. What do you need to be doing right now? So when the SBA does get their application out and the banks are ready, you already have all this data ready to go. So that's what forgiveness, how it could be reduced, because that's also a risk of, hey, what if I have to lay off some employees, or what if I am not able to sustain some of these qualifiers up here. So there's a couple different options. And so this is for, for payroll calculated from the payroll on page 2, times the average number of full-time equivalent employees per month for the 8 weeks beginning in loan origination. Okay, so that's a lot right there. We'll get back to that in a second. And then you have different options. Okay, so option 1 is to divide it by the average number of full-time per month for February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. Or option 2 is the average number of full-time employees per month for January 2020 to February 29, 2020. So when I first saw this date, I kind of had a sink in my stomach, like, wow, that's the time frame when we started adding interns and we had some seasonal employees. I don't know if that will now throw me out, right? So we wanted to make sure we did those calculations as well, as just to make sure. So this area, I'm going to tell you, is the one we have the most questions on of how things are being calculated, because as you also see, this is a reduction in the number of employees up here, and this is a reduction in the number of in the salaries. And again, we look at that employee over 100,000. So this area, when we start to show you what that looks like on the spreadsheet, again, I want to throw a disclaimer out that this is where we have the most questions and we're looking for the most clarification. So now if I scroll down here, you're going to see this plus button here. And so what we did under the forgiveness calculator, oops, sorry, if you need to spread the columns out, just click up here and drag it over. So option 1, and again, going back to the sheet over here, the payroll cost, which again, it's in orange because we're pulling it from this cell over here, and this has orange up here. So saying that this data may not be the 100% accurate point once we get further clarification. So you're going to times it by the number of full-time per month for the 8 weeks beginning of the loan origination. So this comes back over here to this number right here. So you'll see that this number is inputted, okay? We can, and we'll show you what we have over here of a different tracker. So this is going to be the number that you're going to need to put in there after this period is done. So that gives you this number here. And then for option 1, we're dividing it by the average number of full-time employees per month from February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. And so you'll see that this number here does not have any color. So it is a formula. If we click on the average number of employees from 2019, that you'll see that this is the pay time period we have as a start date and a finish date up here and over here as well. So this table from the 2019, you're going to go through your payroll records, and what we did is just put our payroll ending date in here, the number of employees that you have. And so you'll see that there were part-time employees during this period in terms of hours. So we went with the number of hours that they work. You can set up a different way, just make sure you clarify that with your bank of how you're calculating it. So I did the sum of the employees, as you can see, throughout that period, divided it by the 20 weeks in that period, and then we have an average of the 3.47. That is the number that is being pulled over here. So this may be overwhelming right now after we start going through down to this part. So what I want you to take a breath. When you click through these spreadsheets, look at all the data that's needed in yellow and fill that out. Start there and then go forward, okay? If you're seeing up here that you're going to have this loan forgiven and you're going to be able to meet those qualifications, don't even unclick this plus. Just keep it right there and go that route. If you want to make sure you can get everything forgiven if something fails to go through in this section, then look at this. But again, all you have to do is click and put the data in the yellow, which you should have. So then you'll see here that this $36,000 loan will be reduced by $153,000. So you'll be good. Now, this again is what we talked about. This is the area that we really want to make sure that we are giving the proper information, and this amount is the stuff this process is what we are further defining with CPAs and banks. So stay tuned. Option 2, when we come back over here to this spreadsheet, is the payroll costs minus any employee that did not earn in that period. So this you'll see is something you're going to have to plug in. Again, if you're able to get all of your loan forgiven up here, don't worry about this calculator area. You may do it just for peace of mind, and that's fine, but I just want you not to stress out. Focus on getting the information in here first and foremost. You'll also see when we expanded this that these lines came available. If for some reason all this qualifiers is not able to reduce your loan, what happens is the loan is converted to a 10-year loan at a maximum of 4% interest rate. So what we did to show you what that would look like is basically took the loan amount from up here. So you can see we just pull it down, put an interest rate of 4%, 10 years, and then you're making 12 payments. So this would be your monthly mortgage payment if none of this loan got forgiven. So in order to sustain your business through this time period and make sure you're healthy and able to strive from a financial standpoint for your business, if you don't get any of this forgiven, which is highly unlikely, but it could happen, this would be the monthly amount of interest you'd be, monthly amount of mortgage payment you'd be paying per year, monthly mortgage payment for the full amount of that loan. And so then you can do an evaluation and say, okay, one, is it worth trying to get this $36,000 loan from the government that could possibly be forgiven? So AKA free money in the sense of as long as you do what the program wants you to do, you have that forgiven. And if you don't, then that's the mortgage payment you'd be paying a month over 10 years in order to be able to have access to this money for your business right now. So that's a business decision, but we wanted to make sure that is in there, okay? So you may have questions on this, but wanted to get this spreadsheet out. Again, I can't state enough that we're working on further clarification, but this is designed to give you the back of the napkin, what can I qualify for at a high level, what will be forgiven, to give you the comfort of saying, yeah, this is worth applying for. And so one of the things you want to make sure you go back to the presentation that you'll see down here when we talk about these slides is the data that you're going to need to get for your bank, which as I just pulled it up here in this PowerPoint that you'll see that's going to be a PDF in there. Basically, you need to gather this information. This first slide, so page 5 in that PDF, is going to be all the information that you really need to fill out this spreadsheet over here. Page 6 of that is going to be what the banks are telling us they need. So this comes straight from what the banks need. And again, I fixed the typo on the one that got sent, but I didn't fix it here. I'm human. Sorry, guys. But this is the information that the banks are telling us that they're going to need in order to be able to process your application. So get it ready. And then again, plan, make sure that you have kind of a high level what's going on. Stay tuned with as we post updates to this spreadsheet and further clarifications for you, and make sure that you're ready to go. Can't stress enough. Again, if somebody's going to give me $36,000 to keep my business going and they're going to forgive it entirely, and again, I put a note down here, loan forgiveness cannot exceed the principal amount. I'm going to be trying for it. I want all of our businesses to understand this program. All of our business, our clients, our tenants, everybody within our community to really understand this is money to help your business sustain and be ready to submit for it. So if you have any questions on this, or if you have any issues, please feel free to email me. Again, as a high-level summary, come in here, fill out the yellow. All these will populate. So again, if we change this to 350,000, you'll see that automatically updates. So as you start to get data coming in and as it changes, you'll be able to literally just populate these forms. So go through, populate here, put your employees that are over 100,000, put your average number here. And we didn't go through this one, but this table over here is really used to help you track the current period. Now, these dates may change due to when the loan origination happens, but again, want to make sure that you have this access here. As you can see, none of that information is put in there because it's not needed to calculate your loan forgiveness. So again, you'll see this will be collapsed. Just go up there and hit that plus to do that. And really, I did that in order to not overwhelm you with the entry point first. So first focus on putting in your salaries and stuff for 2019, then make sure it can be forgiven. And as you can see, there's a lot more qualifying expenses than what you are able to forgive, than you are to get the loan. And this is, they really want to make sure that they're doing this right for small business. So again, please let us know if you have any questions, and then feel free to share this video and as well as again, access to this. This is only the emails that come in here. We're not using them for any marketing or anything like that. It's basically to make sure that we can give you guys updates for those who are using the spreadsheet as it's needed. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope it's helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks.